This video is the first in a series of 4 on phrasing. I want to clearly explain how you can create phrases that not only feel authentic to you, but make sense to your audience. I used to think phrasing was all about feeling the music. Like whatever I felt when I was playing, the audience would automatically feel it too. It wasn't long before I realized this is not at all how it works. When my teachers took the time to really clearly explain how to shape each phrase, people thought my playing was so musical. But when I had to come up with my own ideas, then people thought my playing lacked conviction. The truth was, I really didn't understand how to come up with musical ideas that made any sense, so I just kind of defaulted to playing louder and more forcefully. More often than not, did not serve the music. I was really desperate though to figure out how to play phrases that really brought the music to life. So I started searching. And in time, I realized that phrasing, just like everything else, is a skill. It can be learned and refined. It starts with understanding which elements in the music should be influencing our phrasing decisions, and then building up the skills to really bring our ideas to life. The rhythm provides powerful clues to how we should shape our phrases. This is because every time signature has an innate sense of meter or pulse. Pulse is really important because as human beings, we can all feel pulse, even people who can't play music at all. When we play phrases that have a clear sense of pulse, they are universally easier to understand. When the pulse of our phrasing is unclear, the phrases lack momentum, they don't make sense, or sometimes it even causes us to take on a character that doesn't really suit the music. In 4/4 time, the first beat is the strongest, the next strongest beat is the third beat. After that, beats 2 and 4 are equally less. We feel the pulse in 4, strong, weak, medium, weak. If we take a look at the Mozart concerto with this in mind, we can start to understand how the rhythm and pulse can inform our phrasing choices. Let's look at measure 83 first. The A is the pickup to beat 3. If we play the A just as strongly as the G, we lose the sense of pulse and the shape of the phrase becomes unclear. If we play the A lighter than the G and then lead towards the next downbeat, the shape of the phrase becomes clearer. Next, in measures 84 and 85, if I start by playing everything all the same volume, it sounds heavy and lacks direction. If instead I play beat 1 as the strongest, then beat 3 as the next strongest, and so on, we instantly start to get a much clearer sense of the longer line. For the last example, let's look at measures 86 and 88. Here we can see that the lower notes fall on the big beats, 2, 3, and 4. The upper notes are all written on the off beats. On the flute, it's easy to let the upper notes naturally pop out much louder than the lower notes. If I fall into this trap, the sense of the pulse and direction of the phrase become unclear. Instead, if I play the lower notes more strongly than the upper notes, leading toward the downbeat, the phrasing becomes much clearer. In 2/2 or cut time, the first beat is strong and the second beat weak. We feel the pulse in 2. Strong, weak, strong, weak. Cut time is mathematically identical to 4/4 or common time. The only difference between these two time signatures is the way that we feel the pulse. This example is not technically notated in cut time. That said, this movement is marked presto, and in many editions the indication is to play in 2. So for our purposes, we will consider this cut time. To start, it's important to notice that the movement begins on beat 2. This means that the first downbeat is critically important to establishing the pulse and subsequently shaping the phrases. If I play the pickup with the same weight as or stronger than the downbeat, I obscure the pulse and the phrasing becomes unclear. Instead, if I play a lighter pickup with a stronger downbeat, I create forward momentum in the phrase, grounding the pulse on the first downbeat. We can also understand the difference between 4/4 time and cut time with this example. When I play this with a pulse that follows the strong, weak, medium, weak pattern characteristic of 4/4 time, it sounds like this. When I play with a 2-beat pulse, done by making beats 2 and 4 in 4/4 time much lighter so they don't carry weight in the feeling of the pulse, it sounds like this. You can hear that the version played in 2 totally changes the character of the music. When the bar is divided into 3 beats like 3/4 time, beat 1 is strong and 2 or 3 are equally weak. We feel the pulse in 3. Strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak. In this example, understanding the rhythm helps us make sense of the marked dynamics and gives us ideas about how to shape the longer line. Although the hairpins in this edition are only marked in 2 places, it actually makes sense to play all of the phrases with the same shape, leading to the downbeats. The tendency as flutists is to play beat 2 as strongly as beat 1. This detracts from a longer sense of line. If instead the second beat is played less than 1 with a lighter attack, the pulse and shape of the longer line become much clearer and the whole thing sounds more musical. If the tempo is fast enough, bars divided into 3 beats can also be felt in 1. The tempo for this movement is marked at 1/16 to the dotted quarter. This is actually very important to the phrasing because we may learn this at a slower tempo in 3 to start and unintentionally learn to play beats 2 and 3 equally to beat 1. The end result at tempo would be that our phrasing and character sounds frantic or heavy instead of light. This tempo is way too fast for us to perceive a pulse in 3, so we need to lighten up beats 2 and 3 to get the phrase shapes and character to come alive, feeling it in 1. In 6/8 time, beat 1 is strong, beat 4 is medium, and beats 2, 3, and 5, 6 are weak. We feel the pulse in 6. Strong, weak, weak, medium, weak, weak. If the tempo is fast enough, this can change. Beat 1 becomes strong and 4 becomes weak, and then we feel the pulse in 2. Strong, weak, weak. In the opening bar of this example, we can use the pulse to help us determine how to shape this phrase. The flute naturally sounds louder on higher notes, so the tendency here would be to play the G louder. If I play the G louder, you'll hear that I give strength to a weak beat, which obscures the pulse. If instead I play beat 1 strong, 4 weaker, with the rest even less, we hear a more refined phrase and the pulse remains clear. This idea can be applied to the whole movement for similar results. This is an example of 6/8 at a faster tempo where the pulse should shift to be felt in 2. If I play this passage trying to feel the pulse in 6, it sounds like this. If I purposely play it feeling with a 2-beat pulse, everything sounds lighter in character. Keep in mind that I'm sharing these examples to demonstrate how the pulse can inform phrasing. The ideas I've suggested here are not the only ideas that could work. There will also always be pieces that break the rules entirely. This video is just meant to teach you how the rhythm can influence your phrasing. If you found this video helpful, you would probably find our Fundamentally Flute community even more helpful. Not only do you get access to tons of awesome videos like this, but you can actually ask questions in the community and even attend live classes. It's free to join. The link is in the description.